Welcome to day 67 of our Bible reading plan. Today we're reading Exodus chapter 37, Exodus chapter 38, Job chapter 32, Mark chapter 6, verse 14 to verse 29, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 12 to verse 20, and Psalms chapter 67. We're reading from the Berean Standard Bible. Exodus 37. Bezalel went on to construct the ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, a cubit and a half wide, and a cubit and a half high. He overlaid it with pure gold, both inside and out, and made a gold molding around it. And he cast 4 gold rings for its 4 feet, 2 rings on one side and 2 on the other. Then he made poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with gold. He inserted the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark in order to carry it. He constructed a mercy seat of pure gold, 2.5 cubits long and a cubit and a half wide. He made 2 cherubim of hammered gold at the ends of the mercy seat, 1 cherub on one end and 1 on the other, all made from 1 piece of gold. And the cherubim had wings that spread upward, overshadowing the mercy seat. The cherubim faced each other, looking toward the mercy seat. He also made the table of acacia wood, 2 cubits long, a cubit wide, and a cubit and a half high. He overlaid it with pure gold and made a gold molding around it. And he made a rim around it, a handbreadth wide, and put a gold molding on the rim. He cast 4 gold rings for the table and fastened them to the 4 corners at its 4 legs. The rings were placed close to the rim to serve as holders for the poles used to carry the table. He made the poles of acacia wood for carrying the table and overlaid them with gold. He also made the utensils for the table out of pure gold, its plates and dishes, as well as its bowls and pitchers for pouring drink offerings. Then he made the lampstand out of pure hammered gold, all of 1 piece, its base and shaft, its caps and its buds and petals. 6 branches extended from the sides, 3 on one side and 3 on the other. There were 3 caps shaped like almond blossoms on the first branch, each with buds and petals, 3 on the next branch, and the same for all 6 branches that extended from the lampstand. And on the lampstand were 4 cups shaped like almond blossoms with buds and petals. A bird was under the first pair of branches that extended from the lampstand, a bird under the second pair, and a bird under the third pair. The birds and branches were all of 1 piece with the lampstand, hammered out of pure gold. He also made its 7 lamps, its wick trimmers, and trays of pure gold. He made the lampstand and all its utensils from a talent of pure gold. He made the altar of incense out of acacia wood. It was square, a cubit long, a cubit wide, and 2 cubits high. Its horns were of 1 piece, and he overlaid with pure gold the top and all the sides and horns. Then he made a molding of gold around it. He made 2 gold rings below the molding on opposite sides to hold the poles used to carry it. And he made the poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with gold. He also made the sacred anointing oil and the pure fragrant incense, the work of a perfumer. Now we're going to read Exodus chapter 38. Bezalel constructed the altar of burnt offering from acacia wood. It was square, 5 cubits long, 5 cubits wide, and 3 cubits high. He made a horn at each of its 4 corners, so that the horns and altar were of 1 piece, and he overlaid the altar with bronze. He made all the altar's utensils of bronze, its pots, shovels, sprinkling bowls, meat forks, and fire pans. He made a grate of bronze mesh for the altar under its ledge, halfway up from the bottom. At the four corners of the bronze grate, he cast 4 rings as holders for the poles, and he made the poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with bronze. Then he inserted the poles into the rings on the sides of the altar for carrying it. He made the altar with boards so that it was hollow. Next, he made the bronze basin and its stand from the mirrors of the women who served at the entrance to the tent of meeting. Then he constructed the courtyard. The south side of the courtyard was 100 cubits long and had curtains of finely spun linen with 20 posts and 20 bronze bases, and with silver hooks and bands on the posts. The north side was also 100 cubits long with 20 posts and 20 bronze bases. The hooks and bands of the posts were silver. The west side was 50 cubits long and had curtains with 10 posts and 10 bases. The hooks and bands of the posts were silver. And the east side towards the sunrise was also 50 cubits long. The curtains on one side of the entrance were 15 cubits long with 3 posts and 3 bases. And the curtains on the other side were also 15 cubits long with 3 posts and 3 bases as well. All the curtains around the courtyard were made of finely spun linen. The bases for the posts were bronze. The hooks and bands were silver, and the plating for the tops of the post was silver. So all the posts of the courtyard were banded with silver. The curtain for the entrance to the courtyard was embroidered with blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely spun linen. It was 20 cubits long and, like the curtains of the courtyard, 5 cubits high with 4 posts and 4 bronze bases. Their hooks were silver, as well as the bands and the plating of their tops. All the tent pegs for the tabernacle and for the surrounding courtyard were bronze. This is the inventory for the tabernacle of the testimony, as recorded at Moses' command by the Levites under the direction of Ithamar, son of Aaron, the priest. Bezalel, son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made everything that the Lord had commanded Moses. With him was Oholiab, son of Ahishamach, of the tribe of Dan, an engraver, designer, and embroiderer in blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and fine linen. All the gold from the wave offering used for the work on the sanctuary totaled 29 talents and 730 shekels, according to the sanctuary shekel. The silver from those numbered among the congregation totaled 100 talents and 1,775 shekels, according to the sanctuary shekel. A beker per person, that is, half a shekel, according to the sanctuary shekel, from everyone 20 years of age or older who had crossed over to be numbered. A total of 603,550 men. The 100 talents of silver were used to cast the bases of the sanctuary and the bases of the veil, 100 bases from the 100 talents, 1 talent per base. With the 1,775 shekels of silver, he made the hooks for the post, overlaid their tops, and supplied bands for them. The bronze from the wave offering totaled 70 talents and 2,400 shekels. He used it to make the bases for the entrance to the tent of meeting, the bronze altar and its bronze grating, all the utensils for the altar, the bases for the surrounding courtyard and its gates, and all the tent pegs for the tabernacle and its surrounding courtyard. Our next reading is Job chapter 32. So these 3 men stopped answering Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. This kindled the anger of Elihu, son of Barachel, the Buzite, of the family of Ram. He burned with anger against Job for justifying himself rather than God. And he burned with anger against Job's 3 friends because they had failed to refute Job and yet had condemned him. Now, Elihu had waited to speak to Job because the others were older than he. But when he saw that the 3 men had no further reply, his anger was kindled. So Elihu, son of Barachel, the Buzite, declared, I am young in years, while you are old. That is why I was timid and afraid to tell you what I know. I thought that age should speak and many years should teach wisdom. But there is a spirit in a man, the breath of the Almighty, that gives him understanding. It is not only the old who are wise, or the elderly who understand justice. Therefore I say, listen to me. I too will declare what I know. Indeed, I waited while you spoke. I listened to your reasoning as you searched for words. I paid you full attention, but no one proved Job wrong. Not one of you rebutted his arguments. So do not claim we have found wisdom. Let God, not man, refute him. But Job has not directed his words against me, and I will not answer him with your arguments. Job's friends are dismayed, with no more to say. Words have escaped them. Must I wait now that they are silent, now that they stand and no longer reply? I too will answer, yes, I will declare what I know, for I am full of words, and my spirit within me compels me. Behold, my belly is like unvented wine, it's about to burst like a new wineskin. I must speak and find relief. I must open my lips and respond. I will be partial to no one, nor will I flatter any man. For I do not know how to flatter, or my Maker would remove me in an instant. Now we're going to read Mark chapter 6, verse 14 to verse 29. Now, King Herod heard about this, for Jesus' name had become well known, and people were saying, John the Baptist has risen from the dead. That is why miraculous powers are at work in him. Others were saying, he is Elijah, and still others, he is a prophet, like one of the prophets of old. But when Herod heard this, he said, John, whom I beheaded, has risen from the dead. For Herod himself had ordered that John be arrested and bound and imprisoned on account of his brother Philip's wife Herodias, whom Herod had married. For John had been telling Herod, it is not lawful for you to have your brother's wife. So Herodias held a grudge against John and wanted to kill him, but she had been unable because Herod feared John and protected him, knowing that he was a righteous and holy man. When he heard John's words, he was greatly perplexed, yet he listened to him gladly. On Herod's birthday, an opportunity arose. Herod held a banquet for his nobles and military commanders and the leading men of Galilee. When the daughter of Herodias came and danced, she pleased Herod and his guests, and the king said to the girl, ask me for whatever you wish, and I will give it to you. And he swore to her, whatever you ask of me, I will give you, up to half my kingdom. Then she went out and asked her mother, what should I request? And her mother answered, the head of John the Baptist. At once, the girl hurried back to the king with her request, I want you to give me the head of John the Baptist on a platter immediately. The king was consumed with sorrow, but because of his oaths and his guests, he did not want to refuse her. So without delay, the king commanded that John's head be brought in. He sent an executioner who went and beheaded him in the prison. The man brought John's head on a platter and presented it to the girl, who gave it to her mother. When John's disciples heard about this, they came and took his body and placed it in a tomb. First Corinthians chapter 12, verse 12 to verse 20. The body is a unit, though it is composed of many parts, and although its parts are many, they all form one body. So it is with Christ, for in one spirit we were all baptized into one body, whether Jews or Greeks, slave or free, and we were all given one spirit to drink, for the body does not consist of one part, but of many. If the foot should say, because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body, that would not make it any less a part of the body. And if the hair should say, because I am not an eye, I do not belong to the body, that would not make it any less a part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? If the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? But in fact, God has arranged the members of the body, every one of them according to his design. If they were all one part, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, but one body. Finally, for today, we're going to read the book of Psalms, chapter 67. May God be gracious to us and bless us and cause his face to shine upon us. Selah. That your ways may be known on earth, your salvation among all nations. Let the peoples praise you, O God. Let all the peoples praise you. Let the nations be glad and sing for joy, for you judge the peoples justly and lead the nations of the earth. Selah. Let the peoples praise you, O God. Let all the peoples praise you. The earth has yielded its harvest. God, our God, blesses us. God blesses us that all the hands of the earth shall fear him. May the Lord bless the reading and hearing of his word.